Well, this just came in the mail today. This is the Philco 37640 chassis that was restored with tender love and care by Bob Andersen of bandersentv. That's Andersen with an E. He did a marvelous job restoring this unit, and it's up to me to finish the job. He's done the hard work. Now it's time for me to do the cabinet, which, as of right now, looks like it did the last time you saw it. I've done literally nothing to it. Work in progress. I lied. I actually started lightly sanding the finish. I'm going to be stripping the finish off and redoing it. I think I have everything hooked up correctly. Center tap, and then the field coil, and then the other... the output transformer and the other field coil connection. So I think I got it right. I just took a piece of wire, rigged it up as an antenna. It's not a proper AM antenna. We need to have a loop antenna for this to work correctly. I don't have one right now. So I'm going to plug it in. Here we go. And let's turn it on. Well, that's a good sign. So, yeah. Ooh, we have audio. That's another good sign. This is amateur radio, I think. Shortwave.
From the public. Pause on that one. Also, this little tidbit out of the New York Post, Delta Force considered staging fake hijacking after 9/11. Well, the truth is, there was a staged attack on an aircraft.
Al 5 de septiembre, al parecer.
The lame walk, the lepers and the devil.
Let's try AM. There we go.
Very clever on the Canadian negotiators. They found exceptions within the exception. The line really got going. It started this season with a listening to us knows whenever you have a transmission problem or a motor, an engine problem, you're looking at an enormous bill because it's the most expensive part of the car. And that's the part where they saved or kept you. Wake up the neighborhood when you hear this. Now's the time to go to Rosex. Taught in high school, and yet the jail for this are poor people, often African Americans and Hispanics, yet the rich drugs aren't. I wonder if the person that you call the hypocrite an opportunity to respond, you want to identify that?
So far,
well, I think
all looks good.
See how many people smoke pot in high school?
Tone adjustment.
Is there somebody you were specifically thinking of? Well, you know.
Oh, oops.
Let me say, I wanted to make it easier for them. Yeah, and I just did on everybody's plate. So 40 years ago, I smoked marijuana, and I admit it.
Amazing. Just amazing. I'm amazed. I can't believe how well this thing runs. I'm not getting anything off the top scale, but that's... Oh wait, actually I am. Can anyone identify that language? I don't know what language that was. It sounded Asian. So now that you've seen the beautifully restored chassis in operation, it's time to move on to the cabinet. Bob Andersen did a tremendous job, and I can't thank him enough for what he's done. His channel, by the way, is bandersentv. It's Andersen with an E. So bandersentv. He specializes in vintage televisions as well. He did a beautiful job, and I need to give that beautiful chassis a proper home. Now, right now, you've got the cabinet upside down. I'm looking at evaluating a few things and trying to figure out to what extent this restoration needs to occur. And I'm not a wood guy, nor an electronics guy. I don't pretend to be. So this is a new era. This is new territory for me. I've gone and watched a few videos. And one thing I've learned about refinishing wood products, especially furniture and, in this case, electronics, is that there is a lot of opinion. Everybody has their own method of doing things. So I've taken a little bit of each video that I've seen and taken away what I think will work for me. So one of the most common phrases or ideas that I've seen in these videos is the you're all right. Kind of work this trim off here, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But anyway, one of the ideas that has been prevalent in almost every video I've seen is that you are not under any circumstances to use polyurethane on an antique project like this one. If you're going to make yourself a new clock box or a shelf or something, you know, go ahead and polyurethane the shit out of it. But one of the again, it seems to be pretty prevalent in every post, in every forum I've read, is that polyurethane is an absolute sin when you're working with an antique like this. So I've gone and used, well, I purchased a couple of different finishing products. This is a can of lacquer, which seems to be one of the most common clear coating agents. And for stain, I bought 3 different kinds of stain. Now, I said I'd talk about this in a minute, and I mean right now. So, here's what I've discovered. This radio had been refinished at some point in its life, and it wasn't done properly. The right colors weren't chosen, and it was sanded to be all beyond belief. The face was sanded in preparation for, I believe, the application of a water slide decal, the so-called Refo Pro, which we'll talk about later on in this video, because I'll be learning how to install one by doing one of the most difficult radios to reface. That's how I do it. I dive in, feet first, and just get it done. I learn along the way, and I get pointers along the way by my viewers in some cases. And you know, that's how I've learned almost everything I know. So what I found is I found one good reference photo of what this radio is supposed to look like. And as far as I can tell, these lower trim boards are supposed to be an ebony finish, and or toned with an ebony toner. In this case, I'm using stain. And that's going to allow the wood grain to show through, but it'll also accent the base of the radio. The water slide decal applies a faux finish, which is a lithographic. Originally would have been either lithographic or rotogravure decal, but this is what half the decal looks like. So this is all going to get trimmed around the edge of the radius curve and the sides, and this is what the decal looks like, and it's going to go kind of like right there. So anyway, before I do that, before I start messing with that, I have to do a lot of different steps. Number one, and I'm working on that now, and that's removing the base trim. The base trim needs to be sanded smooth again because there's a lot of defects, a lot of scuffing and scratches. So it's got to be sanded smooth again, and then it has to be stained with a nice ebony finish. Once that's done, I'm going to be sanding the face again. Because this was last prepared back God knows how long ago, and there's been a few new dings and dents and scratches. So I've got to fill those scratches in and then sand it with a palm sander to get it nice and smooth. Once I do that, it has to be sprayed with a lacquer to provide a base coat for the decal to sit on. For the sides, I need to strip the sides down to the bare stain, and I'm going to be applying one of these two, or a mixture of these, and I might mix a few of them up to darken it a little bit. But I have to basically color match, or come close to the color of this, the darkest color that I see in this marbling, or in the burl pattern. I'm going to try to match that. As far as the photo that I saw, that's what I think it's supposed to look like. Actually, I may be matching the edge here. I don't remember which. So I'm going to try to come close to that using my using one of my mixes of stain. I might actually have to add some ebony to one of these two. This color appears to be this early American color. It's pretty close. It's a close approximation. And remember, with stain, if you don't like the color, you can always darken it. You can't lighten it, so you want to start off lighter and then work your way backward. Or forward by darkening it. And you can always mix different colors of stain together to achieve the right color. So that's what I'm kind of hoping and praying I can do without any hassle. Thankfully, these strips were not glued down. That would be a nightmare and a half. But they are putting up a fight. Those nails are just grabbing real well. Oh, good, that one's pulling. The nails may end up pulling through. That's okay. I can live with that. I can always fill in the old holes and make new ones, which is what I may end up doing. And I'm hoping that by removing these strips, I may reveal some of the original finish. But it doesn't look good at this point. It doesn't look good at all. It looks like the radio was sanded completely. Ooh, yeah, that nail just popped right through. I knew it would. The nails are rusting. Yeah. Okay, that came off. Real nice. In one piece, thank God. Oh boy, that would really, really bite the big one. But all the nails pulled through. Not that I didn't expect anything else. And now we can see what's behind here. Okay, I got all the lower trim pieces off, and those are going to be set aside to be later refinished. Actually, here's a quick little, you can see what the original color was right there. Yep, I just noticed that. And you can see remnants of the old stain where the wood was not sanded properly. So, it looks like I was right. The ebony dark is certainly the most likely candidate for the original finish. As for the box, or the sides, it almost looks more like a mahogany finish, which I actually have some, and I think that is what I'm going to use. It's more of like a red oak or a mahogany, and if that's any indication of what it originally was. So I want to test the lacquer thinner idea by, I'm going to take a little bit of lacquer thinner. What we really want to do is remove not the stain, because that's part actually impregnated into the wood. We want to remove the finish that was applied over it. And it seems to be working. Yeah, that looks more to me like a mahogany. When you get it wet, you can see the actual color underneath. And is it working? Well, it's not working. But I don't think see if this was done over with like a, I don't think it's shellac. I know it's not shellac. But if it's lacquer, this will remove it. And I'm hoping I'm right. It's bringing back some of the color, which isn't really part of what we're trying to achieve here, but of course, anytime you put liquid over a piece of stained wood, no matter what it is, for a brief shining moment, you're going to see what the color would be if you were to clear coat it. But I'm pulling off some of the color. I think this is working. I think I have the right materials. So if I were to just kind of go over the cabinet with a nice reddish stain, either of these, none of these will work. I might have to do a mahogany, which is what I used on my clock, but I need to go something a little bit lighter than that. What I may end up doing is mixing some of my golden oak with a mahogany, and that might be the best solution. But yeah, it's just I don't think this is working. See, one way to tell if this is actually doing the job is if those little shiny spots start disappearing. And I think it's like in the grain here. But yeah, it appears to be doing the job. What's going to happen is if I don't get all of it off, when I go to apply the stain, it's going to resist. It won't penetrate through the lacquer, so you're going to have an uneven coat of stain, which is going to look pretty bad. Now, in the off chance that they used shellac when they refinished it, and I know it was refinished. I mean, I'm pretty much determined that it has. What's going to happen is it'll just come right off if I use rubbing alcohol to try to remove it. As for the back, that's just going to get. I think I'm going to spray paint that black or brown. That's what it would have been originally. it had a nice brown, almost like an opaque stain. And we're going to clean that up later on in the project. Or maybe not so later on. But let's see. Now, right on the top here, you can see there's a lot of clear coat left. Let's see if that. Wow. If you've ever worked with lacquer thinner, this stuff's got a potent odor to it. But it's actually working. It's taking the finish off. Just what I need. And then we'll kind of go over it with a... hold on, there's a unicorn in my living room. Can you see it? I don't know why he wants me to go over there. Oh shit, he's gone. That's fucking weird. Anyway, so yeah, this is working. It's actually lifting up the a little bit of the varnish. That's the best way I could put it. These feet all need to be replaced. I'm going to try to find some reproduction or new old stock feet. And I'm going to take this piece of wood. I'm going to have to plane it down somehow. But this is, I bought this to replace the foot pads. It's just a hair too thick. I might just, I don't know how I'm going to do that. I don't have a planer. See, the problem is, when I'm doing projects like this, I don't really have the proper shop materials and tools, and I'm doing this on my kitchen counter, for Christ's sake. So this is kind of a frustrating deal when you don't have the right shop to work in. But I do the best I can with what I have. I guess that's the underlying theme in many of my videos. I only have so much room to work in, and that's thanks to the real estate market tanking like it did. I'm stuck in this little house for a little while, probably another 5 or 6 years. At that point, I'm going to buy a barn somewhere, and just a house with an attached barn. I'm thinking will be my ideal living situation. But in the meantime, yeah, this is kind of working, not as well as I'd hoped. I wonder if a proper paint stripper is what I need. Oh shit, scratch it up. It seems to be softening the lacquer. It is lacquer thinner, and this is how you remove lacquer, I think. I mean, yeah, it is working. So anyway, yeah, lots to do. So for now, this is it. We will take this up a notch later on. Maybe I'll do some work outside where it's ventilated. Yeah, do not use without proper ventilation. Only use outside. I know the whole. What's it say? Yeah, all the instructions are in Spanish, or German, or French. Carefully read all directions. Do not apply to floors. Oh, man. Well, that's it for